Hello and welcome to Film File from the Foyer, episode 2 or 3, depending on whether you count the double-parter as 1 or 2 episodes. Around the table today, we've got myself, Andy.
I'm Kat, hi.
I'm Rob.
I'm Jason.
And I am Kase.
Today, the theme for the latter part of the show is going to be guilty pleasures. We should have all brought along one really guilty pleasure, which we're going to try to defend. And we might find that fellow people around the table also enjoy those films. But first, let's start off with a look back of the past few weeks of film and what stood out for anyone. Rob, do you want to kick this party off?
Yeah, best film I've seen. Well, not sorry, the best film I've seen. But the film I want to talk about, and I'm going to steal it from you, Case, I know I am, I'm sorry, is All Is Lost.
Was The Rock in it?
He was not, unfortunately.
Did he
the
hit
only
a rock?
thing that would have He's the bullet.
I haven't had a chance to see All Is Lost yet, so...
It was fantastic. It would make a really depressing double bill of Gravity. Maybe not depressing, because... Yeah, it would make a really good double bill of Gravity.
It'd be depressing if you were going expecting a good film from Gravity.
Oh, that's...
It was pretty, and that was all it was.
No, well, All Is Lost is very along the same lines. It's a very tight film. It's 90 minutes long. There's no fat on there. Everything is just what needs to be on the screen, what's happening. And I think Robert Redford says about 8 words throughout the... He's not completely on his own throughout the duration of the film. And
is that a complete sentence or just in random words?
Random words throughout. And like just the way he goes about his day is very, very calm. Even when all the shit is happening, he's still very quite calm and collected. Everything like you see him like building his boat, trying to put his boat back together, and it's really well done. And do you have something to say in that case?
Yeah, just kind of agreeing like that, especially just...
Redford's performance.
Yeah, man, I don't know how somebody can like convey that much like emotion without just saying like 7 or 8 words.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and like you do find yourself being like more and more like involved in like enraptured by it. Like about like 1 hour into the film, you're just right there with him.
Definitely.
You just want him to survive.
And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for him. It's so good.
We picked up on this theme last time around that whatever idea you were going to have, Rob beat you to the punch.
Why don't we just start asking Case first?
Jason, have you managed to catch any of our new releases over the past month? Or maybe an old film that you've caught on our favourite streaming video service?
I saw 12 Years a Slave, which was fun.
It's a film that I've been saying to people when they've been asking me whether I recommend it. It's like, it's not a film that I'm going to tell you to enjoy, because you don't enjoy it. You persevere that film, but my God, what a film which is worth persevering.
I think it's quite hyperbolic to say, but a very similar type of film to Schindler's List, I've found.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily ever want to watch it again, but it's just such an amazing film.
Yeah, it's powerful, it's moving. I mean, I'm a fan of McQueen, the director, anyway. I've always loved his manner of doing really long takes on things to an uncomfortable nature. In Shane, it was like, if you didn't like looking at a man's huge willy, it got very uncomfortable within the first 10 minutes.
Always big, like, shark-like face. Like, right to the end, where he's with a couple of females. I'll just put it like that. And there's this shot just of his face, and he's just all teeth. It's like watching Jaws.
I need to go back and watch Shane and Hunger. I've not seen
I personally really enjoyed Shane.
Oh yeah, same.
I did as well.
Yeah.
It was good to see that Magneto's got another mutant ability. But with 12 Years a Slave, I think that the film really worked more because of it, because the uncomfortable lingering on the torture scenes. There's a lot of criticism come out of some of the critics in the States saying like it was too much torture porn. I don't agree. I think it needed to show that in order to convey the true horror of it.
Well, that's what he said. There was like a couple of interviews he's been saying where he was saying, I was either going to make a slavery film or I wasn't going to make a slavery film. I couldn't make a slavery film and not like include all of what I included. Ejiofor,
always a great actor, always a great supporting actor, should I say. First time that he's really stepped into the front, except for Kinky Boots, but we don't really consider Kinky Boots as him being the lead role. But he just carries the whole film brilliantly, and even out-acts a stellar supporting cast. I mean, Cumberbatch is basically playing Benedict Cumberbatch like he does in everything. Fassbender plays a pretty nasty piece of work, but still manages to find some humanity in there.
I love that about Fassbender because, like, he's in his mid-30s, pushing 40, but he's quite young in his career, and there's not many actors who quite young in their career would go and do such a play such a heinous character.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with him, he does that.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
he's a lovely guy in a film, and other times like he's a complete scumbag. Like
Yeah,
Fish Tank as well.
Yeah, Fish Tank is such a good film. Yeah.
If I was going to pick one weak point in the whole film, it was Brad Pitt shoehorning himself in with a role for no reason at all, except for he's one of the producers on the film. It just felt a bit forced in, and Brad Pitt just playing Brad Pitt like he does in everything.
I heard one review that referred to him as a magical abolitionist.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt comes and frees more slaves.
I thought that was quite...
He's even got like an Abe Lincoln beard.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
One of my problems with the film though was the title, because it says 12 Years a Slave, and so you know, sort of early on, you sort of know that he's still got ages to go, so you just prepare for it to get worse.
You see, one of the things I liked about it was, you obviously know he's obviously a slave for 12 years, but the film never says 5 years a slave, which I was kind of expecting it to do.
4 years. Slave countdown.
Essentially, yeah, but like you kind of get lost. Like Solomon presumably kind of get the idea that he has no idea where he is, what time it is, what year it is. You get the idea that when he finds it out once he's back with his family. Spoilers, sorry.
Well,
but
the
yeah,
book's,
I really
been out there since the
the
1800s.
yeah.
If they've not read it by now,
I just really like the fact that it didn't have a sense of time, and it could have all taken space within a month, arguably, but obviously it takes place over the space of 12 years.
Stereotypically, it's very seasonal work for slaves.
you know, as usual, January is always a solid month for films, particularly in the UK, where we get the films that came out November-ish in America, which are the Oscar contenders that we just latch onto and love. I mean, we've had The American Wolf of Hustle Street. Oh, sorry, both films were so similar in style that I got them confused. Wolf of Wall Street and American Hustle. Anyone seen either?
I just saw Wolf of Wall Street, like, literally just now.
Not a chance
It's
to see
awesome.
that yet. But,
Initial thoughts?
I want to be that guy. It's so cool.
I'm not sure that's what they were going for.
He just got away fairly kind of scot-free.
He did. He gets to. If somebody said to me,
Free
"You can go to
places
jail
jail.
for 3 years and then you can have all this money," I'd be like,
I mean,
"Hell
when
yeah!"
you'll come out, be like a TV personality, get all your fortune back pretty much.
well,
Hell yeah.
the film is based on the book he wrote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort.
There's a lot of parallels that you can draw with Goodfellas. I mean, another Scorsese film where someone gets embroiled in a type of criminal activity, and you know it's showing how they get caught up in the drugs and excesses of that. More so with Wolf of Wall Street, which is 3 hours of boobies to
Some penis.
some penis.
Some penis.
But
Mostly
that was a
penis.
prosthetic penis.
Most.
That was not really Jonah Hill's penis.
There was a
It
tiny
was
little
just-
bit
it
of
was
Leo
Michael
penis as
Fassbender.
well.
It was actually Michael Fassbender who just stepped in.
With his stunt penis.
That actually was Michael Fassbender. True facts.
But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, I watched it at midnight, and for the 3 hour film watching at midnight, normally you'd think you get to about 2 o'clock, you're stretching, you're feeling uncomfortable. No, it got to the end of the film, and I looked at my watch, well, my phone, I don't wear a watch, and just thought, no way.
You had your phone on you during the film, Andy.
Switched off. I switched it on at the end, obviously.
Don't want to promote that kind of
So you checked the time on a switched off phone.
When I
That
powered
is
it on,
amazing technology. No, like he is an unlikable character, but you really find yourself coming to like him. Like he's a bastard through and through. But
I don't think he.
I don't know. I
he's
just loved
the only
him.
one
I'm a
to like
sucker
the
for
character.
bastards.
Yeah, I think the Jonah Hill's character Donnie, he's pretty damn derisable as well. He's
Yeah,
not
but
very likable.
I know. I found at the end, I was really feeling sorry for the guy. And I don't even know why. Like I said, he's a complete.
I mean, I'm not sorry, I've not seen the film, but surely that's credit to DiCaprio.
Yeah, I mean, I like Leonardo DiCaprio anyway, but
well, yeah, I mean, I think the whole idea is that you do know that he's awful and such a decadent character, but you do actually like him at the same time, and that captures, you know, the character that he's playing, because he had such charisma that he got so many people working for him and doing illegal acts, even though they knew that it was illegal and they could get up shit creek for it.
the scene where he's taking those pills have taken a while to kick in. He's trying to get into the car.
It's the best drug use
This is
scene
why it's called the
since
cerebral palsy.
best drug overdose on screen since Trainspotting. It's absolutely brilliant.
How he got to get his foot to
hilarious.
open that Lamborghini door is just.
Try not to spoil too much for
Oh, sorry.
sat here thinking, I need to go and watch it now.
Absolutely.
It's not.
Or
not
Jason.
like a Lamborghini. It's
Yeah.
just
I've seen it Thursday. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a fantastic film, and I can't wait to watch it again. Yeah, it just is Scorsese really at his best, and DiCaprio at his pinnacle.
If he needs to get an Oscar, we need to get a petition going
It's
for this
between.
guy.
It's
'cause-
got to be between him and Ejiofor for 12
yeah,
years.
Matthew McConaughey, he's been
McConaughey, he has been
getting
getting.
pretty much all the
McConaughey
cases,
now.
hasn't he? Yeah.
Since he
But
made his heel
I also
turn,
kind of feel
it's
like if he
cool.
was to win that award, it's not going to be just for Dallas Buyers Club. It's going to be for
the last
It's
2
going to be
years,
for
yeah.
it's going to be for just like pulling himself out of his rom-com funk. a little
You've
bit.
done really well the last 2 years. Here's an Oscar.
Yeah.
I think Leo deserves it though. The poor guy is just.
I don't know. DiCaprio's going to be someone. He's like Meryl Streep. He's going to be nominated again and again and again. Whereas I don't
We need to
necessarily-
get Leo an Oscar.
As good as
Come on.
Ejiofor is in 12 years, he's not the type of person that's going to be constantly nominated for something. So I'd personally like. It'd be nice to see, obviously, always
And
good
I
to
think
see a
it's
British guy
like
up
some
there.
more like high-profile roles for him. So.
And as I said, the similarities with looking at crime and manipulation. American Hustle also came out. It's definitely David O. Russell channeling essence of Scorsese through there.
You
with
see,
its
that reminds me of
framing and
Goodfellas.
stylings. Yeah, it's got the same kind of camera panning and shots. It's got a Scorsese-ish soundtrack backing it up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's not a brilliant film by far, and there are mistakes within the storyline that don't quite work. But I thought that the cast pulled it up. The cast made it enjoyable to watch and made it fun. Anyone else got any thoughts on American Hustle?
Yeah, just in terms of the soundtrack, it's one of the best collections of songs I've heard for a number of years, really.
He plays in the foyer quite regularly on my night shifts.
He does. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's been
I
getting
noticed
me
that the
through
other
box
night,
office.
actually.
Oh, on
I've
the
not
subject
actually
of
seen it yet.
Wolf
Yeah,
of Wall
well,
Street soundtrack,
Oh god,
I have got
yeah.
the radio-friendly edits.
Oh, amazing! Amazing. Yeah, there's like a Spotify playlist that somebody's kindly cobbled together of all the songs.
Something I didn't quite follow in the Wolf of Wall Street. Over what sort of period of time is it supposed to be set? Over how many years? Because it starts off in the 1980s and then they start playing the Foo Fighters a little bit later on. It's like, how many years is this supposed to be spanning?
Well, it is
I was a little
like
confused.
the late 80s when it does kick off, and then it's Everlong, isn't it? I think Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
So that'll be like mid 90s, early 90s, like 96.
Like 95, 96.
It's like
something
96, I think that came
That's a research job on
out.
Wikipedia.
Yeah. I can't remember when that came out.
It was after
97.
94 because
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people who've said that Jennifer Lawrence absolutely fantastic for American Hustle, but I didn't think it was her best role. I thought that she was completely outshone by Amy Adams, Amy Adams just really found her feet in that film.
I think Amy Adams was given much more to do in this film. Jennifer Lawrence, she got more to do towards the end, but for the most part, she was kind of on the fringes of the story. She came to me. I don't know if it was necessarily to do with her character or not, but she came across as more compared to Amy Adams. She came across as quite childish, that may be something to do with the fact that it's Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
but that's just the kind of thing I got from it. I wasn't a big fan of Silver Linings Playbook, and I thought it should have.
Jason, step in.
Defend.
thanks to Sky Go, I only got to see half of Silver Linings Playbook.
Well, no, I'm quite critical of Silver Linings because David O. Russell was nominated for Best Director when Ben Affleck wasn't, and that's an abomination. But I thought she was better in Silver Linings, despite again she shouldn't have won that Oscar either.
Someone's a bit prejudiced.
Well, no,
Jessica
Chastain
Chastain should have won. But yeah, I thought she was better in Silver Linings than she was in this. So I was probably more critical of American Hustle than most. It should have been about half an hour shorter as well. It dragged in the middle. The opening was good, the ending was good, but the middle
the opening
is...
5 minutes is fantastic.
The very opening shot of Christian Bale doing his hair is probably the best part of the movie.
It's great.
Yeah,
Such a way to
it was fantastic.
If there was an award for best wigs in
Best
film,
wigs.
Well, there is.
maybe we should
Best
have-
hair and makeup.
Best hair and makeup.
In American
I'm
Hustle,
gonna say
it isn't even nominated.
I'm going to say it's not nominated.
There's something wrong in the world. It has to be said that Jennifer Lawrence, however, does get
She is a
one
phenomenal
of the
actress.
best scenes in the film when she's cleaning to Live and Let Die. Absolutely hilarious sequence.
She is a fantastic actress, but I don't necessarily think this film did the best for her.
I don't think her casting was quite appropriate. I think for a lot of things she's been cast for, it's just I don't know if it's because She is Katniss in
She's fantastic.
She's fantastic. I think she's way better.
She's
kind of roles.
better than that movie deserves.
Definitely. And then she'll be in David O. Russell's films where she'll be playing somebody that's like 20s, 30s. Yeah, just I don't know. It's a weird.
Well, I remember reading around the time of Silver Linings that she was quite late cast. And the role initially was for someone a lot older.
Was that Angelina Jolie, or she auditioned for it?
I have no idea who. I know it was meant to be an older role, and then they quickly cast Jennifer Lawrence just to fill the role, essentially. And they managed to get away with Silver Linings, and David Russell's tried to do it again with.
It is rather amazing how many Oscar nominations he's got for actors within 3 films. He's got 11 combined nominations for his actors.
Last Silver Linings was the first film in about 30 years to get actor categories, best actors nominated in all 4 categories, and now American Hustle's done it again.
And Fighter had 3 as well.
Great. He's more of a actor's director than he is serious in the story, which is what I think American Hustle needed a bit more of.
Anyone else seen anything that stands out? Positive films that everyone should rush out and see before the awards?
You know what? Not for the awards, but Anchorman 2 was funny. I really enjoyed it, and I haven't seen the first one, but I really liked Anchorman 2.
That's probably why.
Is the first one
it doesn't hold
just like more of the same?
I enjoyed
the Anchorman 2 is more of the same.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
you'll be like, oh my god, this joke was from number 2. So
So I enjoyed the second one, but I think it really helped that I had been drinking a bit.
The fight sequence at the end was pretty phenomenal.
It was good, but I got bloody bored.
I thought it dragged a little bit.
I just wanted to carry on introducing people.
Yeah, by the
Just
time
10
I got
minutes
to
of that
the
was
4th or 5th celebrity, I was like, oh, come on, man.
But when Liam Neeson showed up from the History Channel, what's going on?
Anchorman 2 felt more like a greatest hits of Anchorman. It was like they went, oh, that worked in the first film, so let's just repeat that joke and stretch it as far as we can. Taken away from what felt like a very spontaneous and improvised film in the first one, it felt like they deliberately scripted the second one. You'll understand when you see Anchorman. You'll, like we said, you'll sit there going...
To be honest, I went along to Anchorman 2 not actually wanting to see it, and I think that might have been part of the reason I enjoyed it so much, because I wasn't going to think, oh, this is going to be fucking awesome.
It was good. It just wasn't as good as Anchorman, as the first one.
Anyone had the joy of seeing Las Vegas?
This guy.
So did I.
It was alright. We were talking about the other day, weren't we? It was watchable. Kevin Kline is a fantastic comedic actor. He's great. If you've seen The Fish Called Wanda, you love Wild Wild West. I don't so much, but again, he's pretty amazing in that.
Hey, don't knock Wild Wild West.
I can see it for Kevin Kline and Mary Steenburgen. Yeah.
It feels like De Niro, Freeman and Douglas are kind of phoning in their parts most of the time, but even when they're phoning in their parts, they're quite watchable. It's a very average film. Yeah, it's not something to rush out for, but it's not something that you watch and then feel regret for the rest of your life for watching. And it's not a hangover with pensioners, as they tried to pitch it. It is more like Bucket List. It's a film about people growing old who realise that maybe they don't have to act old and maybe they can still have that bit of life. And maybe the fact that I'd watched A Haunted House just before watching it is the reason why I thought it was a better film than what it was.
If you watch like movie 43 after that, I'd be like, oh, it's like a Scorsese film.
Anyone seen anything really bad?
I saw something that I thought was going to be really bad and was actually okay. 47 Ronin. Not that terrible.
Not had a chance to watch it. Anyone else?
No. I watched some of it.
Some of it?
Yeah.
I've heard it, costing the studio so much money.
It's switch your brain off and don't think too much about the history. As long as you do that, it's alright.
No, but don't you understand? Mythical creatures did exist in... That was the thing, but the whole political system was a lie. Also,
don't watch it expecting to see a lot of that tattooed guy, because he literally has about 30 seconds screen time.
The one who's got his own poster and everything.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves' character is fairly superfluous, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Keanu Reeves playing a superfluous character? Never.
Keanu Reeves playing a character.
Such an award-winning actor of his style.
Oscar for Keanu!
That's the name of the... I was trying to think of that film the other day.
My Private Idaho was take on the Henrietta, and it's got Keanu Reeves playing a gay prostitute.
I can't say enough good things about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure either.
Yeah, like I said, I watched a haunted house. I've got a reason for watching a haunted house. It wasn't just on a whim thinking, "Hi, I fancy watching the worst film ever made."
You didn't get a recommendation from one of our concession staff by any chance, did you? 'Cause
No, I heard about that afterwards and threatened to punch him. To say that Haunted House was not funny, I laughed more at Passion of the Christ than at a haunted house. But every January I like to have a palate cleanser. I also like to take one round about May or June, just before like the summertime peak. Reason being
So you're taking it in March this year then?
Yeah, if you watch just films that look great, you're going to end up getting jaded, and over time you'll forget what's actually good and what's bad. So I have a palate cleansers early in the year to basically see something that I know looks dreadful and I had no intention of watching, but I'm going to suffer it. Haunted House was the one this time, and from this point onwards, for the next few months, everything is going to be so much better.
Gun to your head, was it worse than movie 43?
It was.
It was?
I chuckled. Don't forget, I watched the American version of movie 43.
I'm going to say, because I watched movie 43 and spent the entire time just like, how has this even been commissioned? It's just garbage. It's just utter garbage.
I chuckled at the tying together story.
See, I've only watched the UK version, and it's just.
But Haunted House, literally, it took me 3 sessions. It's only about 90 minutes long, and it took me 3 sessions to get through it because every 20 to 30 minutes, my brain would just switch off and go, "That's it, I'm out." Stop. Go back to it 20 minutes later.
Is it from the same producers as Scary Movie, that sort of thing?
It's some of them. It's the Wayans. I mean, kudos to them. They stuck to one parody. It is a parody of Paranormal Activity. But at least find some jokes in there.
Yeah.
Because there was none. Dreadful film.
Can I just say, Kase has got the notebook out, so shit is getting serious.
I just need like a couple of pointers every now and again.
Kase's whole argument is completely scripted.
Go on, Jason.
On that subject line, I was going to say Paranormal Activity 3 is an actually hilarious film. I thought about when it actually gone into parodying themselves.
The
like, the way it goes
the
just
little girl
bullies 2 small children.
Has anybody seen the marked ones?
No.
Neither have I, but...
I've seen customers come
I've been and screen checked it. And
if you gave up on Paranormal Activity after the first one...
I haven't seen any of them.
It's so funny.
I still say that the reason why I enjoyed the last Pirates of the Caribbean film so much is because a month beforehand I watched Sucker Punch. So the palate cleanser does work. It does make you enjoy the blockbusters a lot more.
The last
Sucker Punch bad?
movies are not good.
Sucker Punch is dreadful.
Ooh. It's lovely. I love it.
It's lovely.
I genuinely love that film, but I can't explain why on any level.
Is that going to be your guilty pleasure?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, because occasionally I'll go towards something which is a palate cleanser as I think of it, and then while I'm watching it I find myself enjoying it more, and then it becomes my guilty pleasure. I've got quite a few guilty pleasures. And narrowing down what I wanted to talk about today was quite a chore. There was a lot of bantering going backwards and forwards. But before I get round to my one, guilty pleasures, guys.
I'll start.
Oh, no
one else. My guilty pleasure is the remake of The Producers, the musical.
Mel Brooks musical.
The Mel Brooks, the Nathan Lane,
Matthew
Broderick. Yes, the Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick, Will Ferrell, Uma Thurman masterpiece. It's not. I rewatched it in anticipation of this, and it's a terrible movie. It's terrible. They did not try and adapt it into a movie in any sense. They just literally took the script from the Broadway play and made that. And the jokes that work brilliantly on Broadway do not work on film. But having said all that, after watched it, I've still got the song stuck in my head. And Nathan Lane he'd won a Tony Award for Bialystok.
Yeah.
Years and years ago when it first played in Broadway, and him and Matthew Broderick are great together. There's actually a great little deleted scene which has Nathan Lane, Matthew Broderick, and Ernie Sabella, Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba together on screen, which I quite enjoy. But yeah, it's a terrible, terrible movie. But I think it has to do. One of the reasons I love it is. And this is the same reason why I love the Resident Evil movies as well, is me and my friend went to see The Producers, and we both just were like, what the hell was that? And then we ended up talking about it and just ended up loving it. And then we went to see it on stage in Manchester when Peter Kay was the director, and I can't think of his name. Roger Elizabeth Debris, that's his name. And that was bizarre and hilarious as well. The Resident Evil movies, me and my dad have always had a thing for them. We've always loved them, so those would be another guilty pleasure. All is it 5 or 6 now?
I've lost
5. So I'm going to go with 5.
5.
Yeah.
We have like the rubbish like subtitle, don't we? Like Extinction.
Yeah. I was trying. The fun part about that was trying to figure out which subtitle goes to which movie. Yeah. So yeah, the producers. Has anyone seen the review?
I saw the producers when it came out, and I don't think
I should say the original is an amazing.
I've watched the original over and over and over.
Amazing, yeah.
From my memory of when I typed up my review of it, which I'm trying to find all the old archive and put them all online, I didn't hate it. I recall quite enjoying it, but feeling that it sagged in the middle, and it just dragged a bit too much.
They cut a couple of the songs out. Like they cut out "The King of Broadway," which is Bialystok's opening number, one more towards the end. "Where Did We Go Right?" But it's still nearly 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I remember thinking when I was watching it that, you know, because it's, like you say, they didn't try to make it a film, they just kept it as the stage show.
Yeah,
I kept thinking, are we going to dim the lights up and go and get an ice cream now? And I need to go to the toilet now. And it felt too stagey.
Definitely.
But I didn't hate it. I might go back and revisit it and get back to you on that.
I really do enjoy Will Ferrell as Franz Liebking, the Nazi, he's clearly just having a hilarious time playing.
It's the kind of character that he can get his teeth into.
The Guten Tag Hauptklub is just mental, and like when they're walking around wearing swastikas, it's just really funny, and it's a great mocking of Hitler, especially when the original came out. It's just a great way to take the mick out of Hitler.
Anyone else seen?
Anybody else really hate it?
I've only seen it once, and it was in the stairway of a college building in a laptop, so I can't really.
There's a story here.
No, it's just where we were, and it was on a laptop.
All right.
There's no story.
I think that really counts as seeing it, to be honest.
That's actually a better experience than the Odeon.
They'll start doing their own type of podcast. Cineworld.
I'd like to specify that's not the Odeon as a chain, that's our local Odeon, which is
Odeon.
pretty bad.
I think
My
I
TV
walked
is
into
bigger
the
than
foyer
Big
once and just turned around and I was like, no.
I watched like 4 films.
Yeah.
One of them was
4?
Lovely Bones.
Does anybody know what Odeon stands for?
Go on.
Oscar Deutsch entertains our nation.
Thank you.
It's a fun fact for the day there, guys.
Yay.
It's
You
the one
heard it
thing.
here.
It's the one thing I remember from 3 years of film studies at uni.
You remember things?
Just that.
I remember.
So, Jason, you've promised to come along, and because you generally like films that everyone else hates anyway.
I think he does it on purpose, to be honest.
I think I do for the attention.
You hated Scott Pilgrim?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I enjoyed
What
it.
did you hate about it?
I enjoyed it the first time, and the second time I realised my friends were having too much fun. So
That's a guilty displeasure.
Well, I watched it the first time, really loved it. I watched it by myself, and I watched it again with a group of friends, and I felt like I had a bloody headache. It was like I had loads of like Haribo Tank Plastics, had a kind of bloody like Relentless, went for a jog, and then just had like a big migraine.
I think that might not have been the film, to be
I
honest.
was just like,
How can you hate Michael Cera, though? He's just so...
I didn't say I hated
lovable.
Michael
No, I know, but at what point did I make that claim?
slanderous words.
Dare you? I liked him when he was in Arrested Development.
George Michael.
You're so
man.
hipster.
So, to dig yourself out of this grave, is there anything that you like that most people dislike?
I don't know, because I feel like a lot of films I like, most people don't really bother with. Because I like early monster movies from 50s, 60s and the such. People don't really watch them.
Not wrong with them.
You're
Unless
so
like,
cool.
some of them like Godzilla vs. Hedorah, or the Smug Monster, in which you get a scene where, because of the toxic fumes, this guy's in a club and everyone has fish heads. And it's wonderful, but...
I really want to see Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I really want to see
There's
that.
so many of those.
I did see a trailer today for a film called Big Ass Spider, which looks absolutely phenomenal.
It's got a 3D case on its DVD.
Yeah.
I saw it in Tesco and I was like...
Was that straight to DVD?
Cat.
I'm going to attempt to defend the entire Twilight saga.
Ooh.
I don't. To be fair, I've not seen. Me and Kate have said that we haven't seen any of them.
You've not
so-
seen a single one?
No, sorry,
I've seen two.
I've seen the first one. Kate, you seen 2?
I saw Breaking
think it
Dawn
was 2.
Part 1 and the first one. So I've seen.
Okay.
I've seen the
one.
first, and then I watched the ridiculous ending of the very final one and felt
I've
that
See
seen
that?
Yes, I have seen the end. Of
the decapitation thing. Then
It was all a dream.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I haven't read the books, but from what I understand in the book, at that point, they all just stand in a field and talk for about half an hour. So
Yeah,
I think
that's what
the
I've
film
heard.
is therefore a great improvement.
So instead, they invented an actual.
They invented a decent-ish ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found them really enjoyable. I mean, I don't know if anybody's tried to read Twilight.
Yes.
Yeah, I got about halfway through the first book. I was just like,
I threw it
no.
across the room in disgust.
No, it reads like really poor fan fiction, and then there's 50 Shades of Grey, which is like even poorer fan fiction. But just going from the books alone, the movies are a vast improvement.
So what appeals about the films?
I don't even know. That's the thing. Like, I can sit and watch the whole lot in a day, and you just sort of switch off and just accept it.
Just
like-
lay back and take it.
I got as far as the fan scene in the first one, and I had to stop. You know, where he walks in the room and the fans burn. He's like.
The great thing is, I think my favourite thing about the Twilight series is how much Robert Pattinson hates it. One of the best things about the first one is the DVD commentary with Robert Pattinson, because he's just taking the piss out of the entire thing.
I believe there's some crossover between mine and yours guilty pleasures for different reasons.
Oh, I've changed mine.
Oh, have you
I think.
changed? You've
But
gone
I'm
against it. Well, I've stuck with
I am
mine.
still going to argue a little bit. my other one, my backup.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I mean, I was humming and hawing. You know, Wild Wild West has a special place in my heart. Lone Ranger, absolutely loved. I could reel off like Lost in Space, a variety of films.
I used to love Lost in Space, actually. As a kid, I used to love it.
I rewatched it last year and I still did.
Not long.
But I decided to settle on a film that's rated 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means I'm not alone in my thoughts. However, the people who did like it, of the top critics, were not really what I consider top critics. Because all the top critics, like the New York Times, said, in the worst possible case, this could go on and on, but please let's hope it doesn't. Time Out said, one for all and all for out. And Independent said, a dead cert for the slot in the top 10 worst of 2011. My choice was Paul W.S. Anderson's Three Musketeers.
Oh
I
God!
actually enjoyed
It's-
that.
Oh,
I remember
no.
that.
We watched that.
We watched
Yeah,
it.
we watched that, yeah.
It's Alexander Dumas with a steampunk aesthetic.
Oh.
Shot in 3D. So it was one of those rare occasions when a film which is in 3D deserves to look like that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was tongue-in-cheek fun and nonsense from start to finish. And it entertained me in the same way that the Michael York Musketeers films of the 70s did. It was just camp, farce, fun, energetic. And yes, it didn't really pay any attention to the book that it was supposed to be adapted from.
See, this goes back to what I said about Resident Evil. Paul W.S. Anderson makes movies that I enjoy. Despite them being awful, I enjoyed Three Musketeers as well.
I remember recommending it to friends, and they thought I'd recommended it to them ironically. I really did.
Yeah,
I know that was one of the first films I saw here. I got dragged
Yeah, I
along
seem
before
to-
I
I seem
worked
to
here.
remember.
I got brought here.
Kat's got a look on her face at this point in time that suggests that she absolutely hated the experience and wanted to kill whoever dragged her in.
I seem to remember...
They don't work here anymore. Let's just say
I
that.
seem to remember bumping into you, Danny and Leisha after having seen Three Musketeers, and me and Jason had loved it and you guys had hated it. And
Maybe it's a guy thing then.
I don't know, Kase, you're remaining quiet on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not absolutely.
What, you're defending the boys?
Right. I will say like the pros for it. It's some excellent casting of the actual main Musketeers.
Oh, yes.
Matthew McFadden needs to get more like lead work, more lead roles. Even in that, like he's like the lead Musketeer apart from D'Artagnan, obviously. And he's still like kind of shunned a little bit. Even like his relationship with like Milady de Winter's a little bit kind of sidelined. But yeah, him and Luke Evans and Ray Stevenson, fantastic. And then you get to bloody Logan Lerman, who is even more wooden than Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell is awful.
I love that version. With Kiefer Sutherland.
That's what I'm going to be defending.
Yeah.
That's my Musketeer, but I'm putting him against Andy's.
I'd watch that one. I'd watch the Disney one before the Paul W.S. Anderson
Definitely.
No, I'd do it the other way around. So, well, I've not watched the Disney one since it first came out, and I remember not being impressed.
Okay.
I remember going home and just feeling...
You've got Tim Curry.
Tim Curry as a bad guy is fantastic. I feel like he was kind of robbed of like a real like iconic bad guy.
Yeah.
To be fair, that was the one reason that I wanted to see it.
Was because Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Not Charlie Sheen.
No, definitely not.
As the religious musketeer.
Aramis. Porthos, Aramis.
No, Aramis is Keith Sutherland.
What's his name? Oliver Platt.
He's
great.
Oliver Platt,
really
the debauchery one.
Is that the character Oliver Reed plays? Yeah, I think he's
Yes. Drink and women.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's pretty
Is that what
much
we're doing
all
after
it
the podcast?
Yes.
I said about in my review on my website, filmfile.co.uk, I said that it was colourful, entertaining and fun, and plus kudos to Anderson for managing to find an alternate method to do his trademark laser beam corridor of death in the 17th century. Brilliant use of it.
That was quite fun.
Only Anderson could get away with shoehorning that in the 17th century.
I love how many times he's used it in the Resident Evil series as well. He's like, I feel like I've seen this before.
It's going to do it in the Pompeii film. Volcano is pointed like sideways.
Lava streams across a corridor of death and they've got to get through.
I feel like we should, while we're talking about the Three Musketeers, we should reference one of the greatest scenes of last year, which is The World's End, when they're talking about the Five Musketeers and the fact that it was the Bible or something. I can't quite remember, but yeah, that was a great scene. Just wanted to throw that out there.
But I generally like any adaptations of Three Musketeers to some degree anyway. I just feel that
the Man in the Iron Mask adaptation, I used to really enjoy that.
I've never seen that actually.
Oh man, it's
Jeremy Irons
John
and
Malkovich, Jeremy Irons.
And
Much better job with Charlie Sheen.
the new BBC show that started last night, Musketeer, which
I've not had a chance to
I've
see
heard
it
decent
yet,
things
but-
about, so I'm going to go home and night play that.
I've loved anything with swords in since I was a kid, and my parents let me watch Highlander. I'm about to point forward. I love swords, and I love Highlander.
Highlander's an amazing film.
It's another one I've never seen.
My friend Sean absolutely hates it, and anytime I mention it, he looks like he's ready to punch me.
Over to Kase for what film have you brought along?
I've brought along The Empire Strikes Back, the Mighty Ducks trilogy, D2, the Mighty Ducks, which I had to check with Rob to see if Rob was like going to do it, because Rob loves it probably more than me, and I had a Mighty Ducks hat when I was a kid.
I've never had any Mighty Ducks.
It was amazing. It was like a green and purple like baseball cap, and it was £13.99. I had to save up like 3 weeks for
after we've been talking
money.
about it.
You got so much more pocket money than I did.
Oh man, I was rolling.
I used to get £2 a week, and that was from my gran. My parents didn't even.
You rich bitch.
I'm not going to have a class war.
I'm wondering whether this is going to be controversial, but I've just never got the Mighty Ducks.
Really?
I think
Neither
it's
did I,
because,
actually, no.
like, for me, watching it, I was a kid, I just completely got taken into the world, and somehow they kept coming out with more of them. I don't.
It's like at the moment they're doing it with the Bring It On.
Yeah.
Things like that. They just
So
churn
much
out the same
There's
There's
film
so much
over
of
and
that
over
on
again.
Netflix.
There is, yeah.
The first one's actually really good.
Bring It On Again is one of them.
Bring It On All or Nothing,
That's
and there's a
the
new
one.
one which has just come out, which
I
is
can't
on
remember what it's
Netflix.
called.
What's the name of the series of films, the franchise with the little dogs that do everything?
Space Buddies, Ice Buddies,
See,
Snow Buddies.
At least they go for variety, so I want, like cheerleaders in space and stuff.
Yeah, but they do the same jokes every
That's
time.
Have you seen the first Bring It On? It's actually pretty
is.
damn good.
Oh, yes.
Fingers, dude.
Yeah.
Many times with
It's-
boxes of tissues.
To cry the emotional finale, right?
Yes, very emotional.
They lost?
Lots of weeping.
You just spoiled it for everybody who's never seen it.
Oh, come on, man. It's been out, 10 years?
Longer than that.
1999, about
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Was it 1999?
That is a long time.
I saw
Sure,
it at,
really
at
old
the
now.
movies, so it was cinema.
Wow.
I paid good money to watch Bring It On.
So, what
Yeah.
is D2 a better film than the first one?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just kind of the sense of like morals and team building, but it sells. I think it should be played in every single school. Like when kids are about 9 or 10 and start getting a little bit kind of rambunctious and start bullying each other, just sit them down, pop in D2, but actually we should all just get along.
So
Start playing
what
hockey.
you're saying is that when kids are bad, you should force them to watch this film.
Yeah.
That doesn't really sell it.
There's a
to
way
me.
to be there. It
No,
has.
just to make them appreciate like teams a little bit more.
Yeah.
I did a similar thing at my school with Fern Gully. For years. We got to watch Fern Gully and learn it.
Oh, Fern Gully.
The environment of working together.
Yeah.
Even, because as a fairy, human, and a bat can work together to.
Yeah.
I think I went to
Robert Williams is a bat.
I think I went to the sort of school where they showed Battle Royale. To be honest.
Now go to the playground and recreate.
And wouldn't it be much better if you all had to watch D2?
Best
We had
school
so
ever.
much fun.
See, D2 has got one of the greatest cinematic moments ever, in my opinion.
What, the flying
before when they come out in the new uniforms, in the new duck uniforms.
Yeah.
Because all throughout the film they've been Team USA, and then they're losing in the big game at the end,
Again,
and then there's a big speech. Iceland for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, I don't really know why. My only reason is because like, if it was like against Germany, which is like the obvious
Germany
one,
or Russia.
Yeah, it's a little bit like too on the nose.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's go for Iceland.
Well, then,
still like a European country.
Well, then the old is he Norwegian? Jan?
Oh yeah, Jan.
Yeah, Jan shows up out of nowhere with. Presumably having spent hundreds of dollars on these uniforms.
These like brand new pristine uniforms.
And then they come out wearing the emblem of the Mighty Ducks. And it's a great
and
moment.
they win the match.
Then
it goes to
a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Well, it's pointless me watching it now, isn't it?
No.
like I knew they were gonna...
The triple deke and...
You guys ever watch South Park and that?
No.
Yeah.
Have you seen the parody episode of the Mighty Ducks sort of thing? And all the
With the Pee-wee hockey. Yeah.
So good.
It's...
Did anybody see the Mighty Ducks TV show? Where it was a team of actual ducks that played hockey.
Yeah.
And they were like superheroes as well. There was like a golden duck mask or something.
Now that does sound awesome.
Yeah.
That
I think I watched that.
actually better than
I watched
the
Darkwing Duck as well.
I never watched Darkwing Duck,
Darkwing
but
Duck,
Gargoyles though. Anyone watch Gargoyles?
I remember.
Gargoyles was amazing. Those old Disney cartoons were amazing.
Does anybody remember the
Sorry,
Spooks of Bottle Bay?
Vaguely.
No, was that just me?
The name rings a bell.
It was.
If there was
it
no
was
ducks
such a-
involved, I don't want to know.
I don't even know why I'm bringing it up.
Darkula, clearly the best.
Why aren't there more duck cartoons? That's like kids attempt.
This is what we.
There's a decline.
The decline in duck-related animated cartoons. It's just
Correlate with the rates of crime.
There's a Kickstarter project right there. Let's get some duck
The
animations.
DuckTales game has just been re-released on the PS3 and Xbox, so hopefully we can combat this.
On the subject of Kickstarter and things that I don't quite get, another thing that I didn't quite get was Veronica Mars.
Oh,
I know this is something really close to Rob's heart. Have you seen the poster which has been released for the film?
Yeah. I'm watching it at the minute. I've just watched season 2.
What, just the poster?
He's got the box of tissues again.
Between Frozen and discovering Veronica Mars, Kristen Bell is becoming like my favourite person. But yeah, I've just watched season 2 and it's amazing. I'm trying to get season 3 watched before the movie comes out. Because the movie is like you say, Kickstarter was a really interesting thing. The fact that they managed to get financing. It never happened before like this, and now obviously it's happened a couple of times since. But
it's big in the video games industry. Kickstarter.
Yeah, it is. But this is the first time it had happened on such a big scale. Like this, it was talked about on news and everything, and it arguably could change the way movies are made. Like, I'm curious, are we getting Veronica Mars?
I'd imagine so, but we won't know until it gets...
I know it's out in March in the States, but
Yeah.
it could be like next year. It's that type of thing, isn't it?
It's not on our current release schedule, and I've not even seen it on a UK release schedule.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it'd be straight to Netflix. Or it's on Amazon in America. That's the thing. So I might have to get Amazon. Love Film even over
I
here.
love film. I'm not going to help.
You know, the amount of times you've had my Netflix account, you're not going to give me your Love Film.
Nope.
We do not condone the sharing of Netflix accounts.
We all pay for Netflix.
You've had my Netflix for 3
I
years.
couldn't delete it from my Xbox, alright?
Every so often I'll get a notification saying I watched After Porn Ends.
Yep. I wanted to know what happened to the lovely actresses of the porn industry. A lot of them turned to religion.
Yeah, you tell me it's a good
Become
documentary.
hardcore
Yeah.
Christians, yeah. I didn't expect that.
So from
What
bashing the
did you
bishop to
expect?
praising the bishop.
From hardcore porn.
Can I ask
to
what you
hardcore
did
porn.
expect?
I expect them all to become producers and stuff and help in
The industry.
manipulation of young women. It's empowering.
Or at least work at the McDonald's drive-through. Yeah, so I just never quite got what Veronica Mars. I never latched onto it. It might be one which I'll give it a shot.
It's a great little film noir almost, especially the first season. The second season slightly less so, Yeah, that's how I'd sell it almost, because it's the whole voiceover narration and it kind of deals with those tropes of film noir. Really, really well done, and also the fact that the guy who wrote it has the exact same name as me is See, written by Rob Thomas coming up is quite nice. Thomas being my middle name, obviously.
So,
I was really confused. I was like, that's not your name.
If anyone else out there listening has any personal guilty pleasures that they want to reveal,
Space is the greatest film ever.
It is amazing. Don't they use to kill
who
people
can argue with
pie?
that?
They kill people?
Yeah, but it's a corrosive pie.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix as well.
And it's on
It
Netflix.
is, yeah.
So points.
And it did well on Rotten Tomatoes, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Found
Oh
it.
yeah.
Almost as good as Wolf of Wall Street, apparently.
The Mighty Ducks 2
75.
that got 18%.
18. The producers was at 51, I believe.
What was yours?
24.
So these are all rotten except for his.
Yeah, which didn't make sense. I'm sure that my mobile phone was just messing with my head.
I think the Twilight Saga ranged somewhere from between 15 to about 49.
I'm sure
depending
some
on
of
which film.
the Twilight probably got around 60, I would imagine.
I know-
No, they did,
I know Mark-
they're all below 50%.
Were they?
Well, you're in good company because Mark Commode defends the Twilight films. He very often goes on record to say that all the critics who naysay and nag at them just really aren't watching the same films as him. But
I've
then
never
again,
said
he does say some crazy things.
I've never said a
sometimes.
bad word against Twilight because I haven't seen them, so I can't really. I've seen the first one and that was fine. It wasn't good or bad, but I've never.
I think there's
Never
a big.
seen the
I think
sequels,
it's
so.
popular to hate them.
Yeah, I
Like
couldn't care less
it's
about
popular
them.
to call Kristen
You say
Stewart
it's
a bad
popular
actress.
to hate them.
Yeah,
Then they are my favourite films.
I'm going to watch them right now.
Jason liked them before anybody had heard of them.
So if you've got your own guilty pleasures at home, why not tweet us at Filmfile UK and let us know what you think really you shouldn't be watching. So, anyone got anything final to say for today's show?
Everyone watch Roadhouse.
Get Netflix.
I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Douglas in Ant-Man.
Certainly am.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching both Ant-Men.
Yeah.
in Ant-Man. I'm quite impressed that they're actually going for like the double whammy of
Scott Lang.
Yeah, it's quite a ballsy mood. Mood.
Yeah, might be
Ballsy
might be
mood,
ballsy.
isn't it?
Me and my friend were talking like maybe Hank Pym did create Ultron after all. The fact that he's an older Hank Pym, so he could still have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Films coming up over the next month. Anything that stands out? I mean, there's things like Lone Survivor, RoboCop, Jack Ryan, Inside Llewyn Davis, The Book Thief. Anyone got anything particular? that they're
Dallas
looking forward to?
Buyers Club.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm
wait
looking
for
forward
that.
to Spike Jonze's new film.
Yeah.
Her.
So you
Oh,
stole
yeah,
it
yeah.
from me this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Got it back.
The only thing I could think of whilst watching that trailer was that episode of The Big Bang Theory where Raj sort of takes Siri on dates and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It sort of reminded me of that. But yeah, it just looked pretty good, but kind of twisted.
Yeah, I kind of get that from like most of Spike Jonze's films. Like we've all got that romantic.
What else
like
has Spike
elements
Jonze
of
done? He did
Um,
Where the Wild Things Are. Was that
Yeah,
Spike
he did
Jonze?
Being John
Adaptation.
Malkovich. He did
Being
Adaptation.
John
Yeah.
Malkovich, that's it.
Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, he
is
did
great
an
film.
amazing half-hour short. Was got Andrew Garfield in it. Completely like, unrecognisable because he plays a robot. Called it's like I'm here or I'm there or something like that. But that's like a robotic love story.
Did he do
And
Eternal
that's
Sunshine
fantastic.
as well?
No,
that
that's
was Gondry.
Michelle Gondry.
God, Michelle
Yeah.
Gondry, that's right.
But yeah, it's like similar kind of
Yeah.
like alters, aren't we, really? Yeah, but super looking forward to that. Joaquin
Definitely.
Phoenix has been on a bit of a hot streak
After
after his crazy streak.
Joaquin Phoenix and Robert Redford both being snubbed at the Oscars.
Tom
I've
Hanks
not
as well,
seen her, but the reviews I've seen coming out of the States have been that his performance is amazing.
Well, it's been one of those years for snubs, hasn't it? Like from Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah,
Tom
same as
Hanks
Mr.
has had
Banks.
quite enough Oscars.
As long as he's
Oh
you
man,
two.
he's only got two, and he's lost
Two
nomination.
more than Leonardo DiCaprio.
Just he's fine. He's fine not having an Oscar.
He needs an Oscar.
It was like what
It's your
2000 last time he got nominated for. It was Castaway last time
Was
he
it?
got nominated.
That was
so-
98, Castaway, wasn't it? It was before 2000,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought it was 2000. right?
Yeah. There's not one since Philadelphia.
Well, yeah.
Or was
that
it
the last one.
Philadelphia then?
No, it would have been
Forrest
Philly,
Gump.
then Forrest
Forrest
Gump,
Gump, sorry, because he won consecutively, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's not one since then.
Well, as we're building up to the awards, and next month on the podcast we'll be discussing what awards have already taken place and looking ahead to the Oscars and trying our best to work out what we recommend you should put money on at William Hill.
Everything should have been out.
We don't condone gambling.
Or Coral, or whatever your bookies of choices.
Yeah,
If
you
We don't want to
so
sway in
listen to
any
anything
particular
I say,
direction.
that's my
Jason is he's a treasure trove of Oscar.
I got 3 last time.
I'm normally quite good. I won last year.
Right, so I think we've reached the end of the show. I'd like to thank Kat, Rob, Jason and Kase for joining me, Andy, on yet another discussion about all things film. Don't forget, you can now subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, so pop on there, search for Film File. There we are. Click
Leave us a
subscribe.
rating if you can as well.
Leave us a rating, let us know what you think. A shout out to Lee for cleaning up the sound and audio. And we'll be recording again at the middle of February, and hopefully that will go online just before the Oscars, so you've got time to see whether we're right or wrong in our predictions. And then the following month, we'll hang our heads in shame and apologise for everything we got wrong. Thank you very much for listening.
We'll not apologise. We'll take down the Oscars for what they got wrong.
We'll shred them.
We'll defend Bad Grandpa for not getting them.
Bad Grandpa was actually kind of funny.
He was all.
It's nominated for Best Hair and
That's
Makeup.
how I make it, yeah.
Nice.
Over The Hobbit, I think. It's the same.
And American Hustle as well. It's just
American Hustle didn't even get a nomination for
based
Hair
on
and
the Lord
Makeup,
of the
did it?
Rings, the Hobbit will get all this stuff at the last one, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh well, now there's no more. Let's get
So that's next year's awards.
Yeah.
Right, that's all. Thank you very much. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at FilmFileUK or follow the cinema at CineChef.